All right. Mornin Ramblins. Scootus are a bunch of fucking retards. Let's get into it. So, anybody who's ever heard about this Hamani case knows it's not a great one to go off of in the first place. But this newest ruling has gotten the clickbaiters coming out the fucking woodwork. One, it is an as applied case, not an on its face case. So, as applied means that as it is applied to that individual, meaning that whatever that ruling is, whatever that all that is about is only with him. You motherfuckers are still kind of fucked if you go and you smoke some weed and then you grab out a Glocky and go swiggling, okay? Just saying. Pointing this out to you. Hamani does not give you fucking permission to be smoking pot and shooting Glock. All right? Let's be abundantly fucking clear. It is not an on its face case. It is an as applied case. As is according to him as an individual or her as an individual. That's what as applied means. It does not give you permission to go and then go buy guns even though you're got like a pot card or something. Okay? Are we clear now? For the idiot lawyers in the fucking background that do not understand how this is how the law works, you are getting people thrown in prison. You are causing it because you are giving misinformation. Yes, you are. Don't try and argue this. You know it's the case. Just because you're not liable for it does not mean that you did not cause it. This is not a liability issue. This is a morality issue. If you do not have the general morality to fucking sit there and say, wait a minute, this is an as applied case. This is not an on its face case. So the constitutionality of it is as applied to Mr. Hamani, not to any one of the rest of you. He's allowed to go and purchase a gun. You, on the other hand, have to be deemed allowed to. Welcome to the United States, where we don't have rights, we have permissions. And we have liars, not lawyers. This really fucking disgusts me, and especially Mr. Tom Grieve, who out there in Missouri or Minnesota or whatever the fuck, I don't care where the fuck you're from. It's disingenuous to tell people that, oh, well, now maybe you can actually do this. You know, it stops people who are tweakers, people who are, you know, cocaine users, people who drink a little bit too much alcohol, people who smoke pot. It stops those people from not being allowed to purchase a firearm. Wrong! It makes it so Mr. Hamani can purchase a firearm. Notice how I didn't say anybody the fuck else. You lying cocksucker son of a bitch. You went out there and instead of just being honest, like you're supposed to when you're sitting here on the YouTubes as a lawyer, because you're not in a court of law. You have to fucking be honest here because the court of public opinion is going to come up and smack you in the back of the head. That's what this is. You done fucked up. You know better. On its face is not as applied. on its face is the Constitution itself says this is not okay. And the judge agrees. This is, as applied to Mr. Hamani, this is unconstitutional. And the judge agreed. That's a total fucking different can of worms. On its face, that means everybody. As applied, that means Mr. Hamani alone. Stop lying to people so that you can go and make some money or something. Because it makes you into an evil person. And it detracts from your morality. And it takes away from your good standing and your good name. Maybe you should think about that and not be so much of a lowlife. You ever wonder why I don't like lawyers and I will stand up and fucking represent myself? Because every American is a constitutional lawyer if they have graduated high school. Notice how I said graduated, not got their GED, graduated high school. There's a difference. It means that you did not have to go back and get a GED. You did not have to go back and do credits and courses after the fact. You are able to represent yourself in a court of law because you understand the United States Constitution and our history. That is what that means. That is why pro per exists. So that as a constitutional lawyer, not bar certified, you're not a British person, you're an American. A constitutional lawyer may represent themselves in a court of law in the United States of America. Otherwise, you need representation. And you should have representation, other already there anyways, kind of helping you along in case of small minutia you might not know of. But being a constitutional lawyer means that you have a good grasp and understanding of not only the Constitution, but the Bill of Rights, the ratification standards, the ratified standards, and the acts of the original founders. Also, the Federalist and Anti-Federalist arguments, and at least an understanding some of Marbury versus Madison, which is where those documents, the Federalist and Anti-Federalist papers, actually come from. This is why I said history, it's important. You need to know about it. This is what really pisses me off when somebody says, oh, well, they just did this, and they got all these clickbait titles, and they tell you, oh, well, you can get weed, and you can smoke your weed, and then you can go out to the gun range. Fuck that bullshit. Do not do that. You will go to prison. It is not a fucking joke. A modern firearm and a joint together are a fucking prison sentence. Do not confuse yourselves with this BS that they're teaching you. You cannot own or operate a modern firearm and have been under the influence of medical marijuana for recreational purpose. You have to have a medicinal purpose. You have to have a prescription, or at least a doctor's recommendation for a prescription. Otherwise, you cannot purchase a fucking modern firearm after having utilized medical marijuana or anything of that grade as a recreational use. Why is this such a fucking big deal? Well, when somebody tells you that the Supreme Court just said that you can smoke pot and shoot guns, they are lying to you in order to get you in trouble. Not only is it disingenuous, but it's going to get some of you into such big, deep shit that you're not going to be able to get yourselves out of it because you don't know how to fight that. This is a big fucking deal. This is a huge fucking deal. This is why rescheduling it as a classification 3 instead of a classification 1, Class A versus Class C, depending on what state you're in. It could be a Class 3 or a Class 3 or a Class 1, depending on what state you're in. That's the drug classification for it. It's federal, but the states all call it something different. Knowing your shit when it comes down to the law is going to get you out of trouble, and 99 times out of 100. This is fucking huge and important. Please pay attention. Unless you have a doctor's order or certificate of lawful use for medical marijuana, and I can show you what that looks like. Okay, unless you have one of these cards, you are not allowed to purchase a firearm after utilizing medical marijuana because of one reason: you don't have a prescription. Yes, I have a prescription. Not just a recommendation, which is nice, and it helps. I have a prescription because I have a real, tangible, visibly understandable reason for utilizing this. You can see where the injury is that my chronic nerve pain relates to. You can actually visibly see it. Which is why whenever I'm standing in front of a lawyer or something, or a cop, or a judge, heaven forbid, they turn around and they say, you know what? No, I can see that. You're right, Mr. Bryce. You actually have a lawful, justifiable reason. And now, since it's been degraded down to a Class 3, Class C substance, it is no longer that A tier, 1 tier, S tier thing, where it doesn't matter what the fuck you do, you use it once and you're banned for life. Okay? No, it's down at level 3 where, funny enough, Ritalin, Adderall, imipramine, methamphetamine, Toradol, Trazodone, heroin, other prescription medications, Ambien, all of these are all in that, down in the 3 tier, down in C, not up here in A tier, number 1, where it is a fucking felony, no goddamn matter what. Where marijuana used to sit. Where it had sat for almost 50 years. Now it can be used as a medical supplement for pain relief, anxiety relief, loss of appetite. If you have a loss of appetite, it can help you with that. There's a lot of different uses for medical marijuana. However, for the longest time, it sat up there in A tier and was illegal for you to utilize. Even as a medication. Even as prescribed by a doctor. Unless you were a terminal patient. Tier 1 is up there with methylmercury. You understand now what I mean by as far as substances that are completely illegal to utilize? Unless you're a terminal patient. Methyl mercury will kill you in fucking 6 months flat, like straight up. It melts your brain. You wouldn't want to do that. I'm just saying that that's the same level of highly freaking regulated shit that marijuana was at. So, as far as I'm concerned, yes, me personally, my opinion, it's unlawful to restrict a man's gun right if he is a free man. Meaning, if he's allowed to walk around out here in public with us, he's allowed to have a fucking firearm. I don't give a shit what the fuck he's doing, what the fuck he's done. If you let him out of prison, if you let him out from behind bars, that man has a right to have a firearm. Plain and fucking simple. Don't care what drugs he's on. Don't care if he gets drunk on the weekends to the point where he's so slobbering, mangy drunk, he has to be carried home by his friends. I do not fucking care. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Does not say except at all. Does not say except. It says shall not be infringed, period. That dot on the end of the sentence is fucking important. So anyways, to sum up, get a prescription. If you're going to be smoking pot, get a prescription. If you don't have a justifiable reason to get a prescription, that's pretty fucking piss poor, because I can guarantee you, if you're a human being, you have a reason. Whether it's anxiety, aggressive disorder, certain complexes and simplexes like agitative autism. Things like that can make it so that you can use it, and you can use it to a good effect. Do not listen to these fucksnots that do not know what they're talking about. The letter of the law is constitutionality ruled on its face applies to everybody. Constitutionality ruled as applied relates only to the defendant in that case. There is a huge fucking difference. Do not fall for this dumbassery. Anyways, that's been your old guardsman on me, motherfuckers. I'm out.